Steve Menzies. Thank you for joining me on NRL Fans WA. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
Cheers, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome, mate. I was looking through your career, mate, your stats. Mate, you've had an absolute hell of a career. In total, 477 first grade games, over 238 tries, in the NRL and in England Super League as well. Is there anything that, when you look at back on your career, is there anything you've taken away from your career that's turned you into the man, husband, father that you are today?
Good question. Actually, I've never been asked that question. Look, it's normally the questions are segmented to during rugby league or after. Look, I suppose I've always playing rugby league and you get there's a fame involved with it. I suppose just staying humble is something that I probably comes naturally, but it's something that it's you take away from rugby league, and just really appreciating what you did for a living, and then being able to appreciate other things, and try to stay humble. When you retire, we're all the same people. I still find it a bit strange. You can catch and pass a ball and score a try, pretty good, and people look at you differently and potentially treat you differently because of a skill set that you have. But I think just being very thankful for what I've been able to do. And I say to people, I would have played for nothing. It's a sport I love playing since I was a kid, and you become good at it, and they say, we'll pay you to do it. And obviously you take the money, you got to look after yourself and your family, but it's, I would have played for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like I said, mate, your career is astonishing. When you really look at it and you get down to the nitty gritty, it's astonishing. And for you to stay so humble, is a testament to yourself, because anyone that's had that sort of career can, I guess, be arrogant, cocky, all that sort of stuff, because they've achieved so much in their life. So it's like I said, it's a testament to yourself, mate. So
thank you.
When you were a kid, mate, is there anyone that you looked up to? And I'm not just talking sporting wise, but anyone that you sort of looked up to, tried to put your life on, like, that's who I want to be like when I grow up?
Not really. I had sort of hero rugby league players. I know that wasn't the question. Johnny Gibbs and Graham Eady were two of my favourite players, but it's it's a tough question. Not really. Not a single person. When I grew up, it was everyone had full-time jobs when you're a rugby league player. Like, they used to score a try, and they used to say, garbage delivery guy, or someone that works for a cement. They just had normal jobs. So you grew up wanting to play rugby league, but it wasn't going to be your career because everyone just had normal jobs. So there wouldn't be a single person that I looked up to and wanted to emulate. There's lots of people along the way that you train with, and you see how they train, or you see the way the way they act. And I still have sort of mentors now that I've sort of left rugby league, and you have business mentors and people that you like the way they talk, or you like the way they manage people, things like that. You try and surround yourself in, and be around those people, because it definitely rubs off.
Yeah. Did you, when you were a kid, is there anyone who were your biggest influences on life? Maybe the way you went about yourself, parents or grandparents, aunties, uncles, anyone like that?
No, look, mum and dad split when I was about 10 years old. So I can't remember it being too difficult, but it's, mum was always there as a single parent for a while, and it's, they do amazing things, and you don't really appreciate what parents do until you get a bit older and you have kids yourself. And I've got two kids, and all you do is drive them around, and they're just asking for stuff, and you're thinking, well, are you going to appreciate what you have? And it's, you sort of stop and look back, and obviously mum used to take me to training, and allowed me just to play a game I love. But it was without. Yeah, they do a fair bit, and I'm sure anyone with kids knows that you do a lot for your kids, and you're happy to do it. Don't get me wrong, but you know, that's probably one. And yeah, my grandfather was loved rugby league. You know, he always used to sort of watch me play and talk to me about how to play and things like that. Yeah, and then I suppose my wife, that's been the mother to my kids, and you see what they do. Yeah, is amazing. So there are lots of different role models that you appreciate as you get a bit older and get outside the life of childhood, and even in your own career in rugby league. And then when you get out into the real world, you really appreciate what what these people and the influence they do have on you, and you don't realize at the time. But yeah, that's probably three.
Yeah. I completely understand where you're coming from when you have kids of your own, because I've got 10 of them that live in my household, and all the sports and stuff that we have to drive the kids to. Oh my god, I'm like, I say to my dad all the time, you didn't appreciate. Well, I didn't appreciate at the time what my dad and my stepmom did for me. So
yeah, totally.
But yeah, it's really a really good answer, and I really appreciate you giving me that one. We are going to jump into your career, mate. Talk about some footy. Like I said, you played over 477 games. Started off with Manly in '93.
Yep.
Stayed with the one club in the NRL till you retire on 349 games. And then you go over to England and play for Bradford, and then south of France in the Super League and play for Catalans.
Yes.
With your NRL career, though, ending up on 349 games, equal with Terry Lamb at the time.
Nice.
Yeah, did you sort of hope just to get that one more game to make it that 350?
So it's look, would I have liked to have played 350? Yeah, but it is what it is. Your number's your number. That's the way it goes. And people say you should come back and should play a game, and it would just cheapen the 349 that you did play. Like it doesn't really bother me, actually. I like 349. It's quite a good number. It's 180 tries, and that's a good number. I played a bit of darts when I was in England. 180 is a good number, and I figure if I scored 181, that wouldn't be as good as 180. So your number's your number. So it's I'm pretty happy with it.
Yep. Well, it was the record for a while until good old Darren Lockyer passed it in 2011.
Yep.
And then Cam Smith has just obliterated all of that. So it stood for a while. But you went out on a really fantastic in a way too. You went out in the grand final. You scored a try in the last game, and you absolutely obliterate the Melbourne Storm. 40-0. How was that that moment and that achievement for you, considering you knew that was your last game of NRL?
Yeah, look, it's a dream way to finish. Obviously, it's the whole day. Grand final day is a bizarre day. It's such a long day, and you just think, after 80 minutes, after, if it's an 8 o'clock kickoff, whatever, at 10 o'clock, this will either be one of the greatest days in your rugby league career, or one of the days you never want to remember. It's very polarizing like that. And when you're younger, you play a grand final. If you lose, you get another chance next year we get another chance. And knowing it's your last ever grand final makes it a bit tougher, as in, I know I'll never get another chance. If I lose this one, that's it. So we lost the year before. And Melbourne were an amazing team. And it was just from the grand final breakfast when we had it on the Wednesday, it was completely different. Year before, everyone's a bit nervous and a bit uptight. In 2007, 2008, everyone was joking and relaxed, and it was just a different feel. And not that means you're gonna be successful, but it was a calming influence on a lot of people. And everything just went our way. It didn't feel like it was an easy game. It was such a hard game. I think it was 8-0 at halftime. Such a hard game. there was an arm wrestle, then we'd score a try. There was an arm wrestle, and so you never, if it's a normal comp game and you get out to 24, 30-0, yeah, you're going to win. But against the Melbourne Storm, they're such a good side that we, I remember there was, 14 minutes to go, and it was 28-0 or something like that. And I was sitting on myself, Heath Lestrange and Mark Bryant were on the bench. And we say, come on, boys, just get through one more set. Kick chase, tackle hard, work for each other. It was on us, it didn't feel like that. So to be able to come on and score a try is very surreal, dreamlike. All that last sort of try moment was, it's in slow motion to me. 1,000 things were going through my head, and it, so just, so grateful that I got to play for the club I was a local junior at and supported as a kid. And then you go through and, you're all right. You play a couple of games and then come to your last one, and you go out like this. So it's, we can't really complain. And, it doesn't get any better. So very lucky to be surrounded by the players I was, and it's a team effort. So
yeah,
it wasn't a bad day.
It was a hell of a day, mate. My dad was super proud, so because he's a Manly supporter. So
nice.
Yeah. But we're not going to go into that now. That last try that you saw in the grand final gives you 180 tries. Puts you second overall behind Ken Irvine for most of the tries in the NRL history. You got someone like Alex Johnson coming up. He's getting close to you guys as well.
It's only a matter of time, I think.
Yep, I think so too. He's it's quite amazing that he was almost on the outs with South Sydney too. So, but we do 180 tries being a second rower. How do you sort of look back on that and feel about being second overall at the moment?
Look, it's one of those things, it just, I've always sort of scored a few tries, and as a junior, just because you're a bit faster and you can just run around them. But it's the better players you play with, the better I was able to read them, and obviously had a great combination with Cliffy, and you just have a knack for reading play and where it's going and where the opportunities are and where it's going to come back to, or even just reading defenses and who's lazy, who's not lazy. So where you've got a good idea where the gap's going to be before the gap's there. If someone's lazy, then the gap's going to be on the outside, and just little things like that you sort of read. And there's plenty of players that can obviously can do the same skill set, but you just where to be at the right time, and that's that's a unique skill set. And lucky enough to play in some great teams, mid 90s, late mid 2000s, which helps. When you got good players around you, they can make you look good.
Yep, definitely. And you mentioned the great man Cliffy Lyons there. I know the guys on the Matty John show give you a bit of stick about
yes,
just playing outside Cliffy Lyons all the time. But on a personal level, you look back on your career, I guess, and you have Cliffy Lyons on your inside. You've been, like you said, a local junior to Manly. Were you, when you first got into that team, were you sort of a bit overawed, or how was the feeling with Cliffy playing with him as well?
Yeah, well, my first ever game was in '93. We played the Brisbane Broncos on a Friday night. And me and Cliffy they had two fresh reserves. They used to have two fresh reserves, and the other two reserves came from reserve grade. That if you played well, you could get to sit on the bench. And me and Cliffy were both I was a fresh reserve, and so was Cliffy. So that was, I think he played another 6 years after that. So that's, Cliffy wasn't starting. He wasn't starting at that time. So it's, I think he was 33. I was 19, my first grade. He was 33 that day. That he didn't turn 33, but he was 33 years old. So just amazing you can have a combination with someone, in a different era than you. And it's, look, he made me look amazing. I would like to think that I sort of helped him look all right too. It's a bit of a combination to, we never had a set player, a set structure, or he would just see the ball. He would just see something. Give me the ball. There's spaces out here. I don't know where the gap's going to be, but I'll figure that out later. And I could literally just run wherever I wanted to. If the gap was supposed to be there and it closed late and I could tuck on the inside of him, I would just shout where I'm going and run to the gap, and he'd go boom and hit me there. Or and I say this a lot, as a ball runner, you're very reliant on the ball player. You can be the best hole runner in the game, but if someone doesn't hit you on the chest at the right time, with deception, then you're not going to look good. So it's there's a handful of I could count on one hand that the players that I could just literally run anywhere I wanted to, and they would hit you on the chest. There's when you're so reliant on someone like that, it's it's pretty handy to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, Cliffy Lyons, he was one of my dad's favourite players of all time. So, I know we used to watch, me as a kid, used to watch a lot of the Manly games. Obviously, I was a Broncos supporter, as you can tell. But, we used to watch all the Manly games as well. And I loved that era of rugby league. I've got the fondest memories of, so many different players. And I was talking to Craig Field yesterday, one of your ex-teammates at the time. And I remember him playing for Manly as well, and him coming in behind Tuvey and Cliffy Lyons. So it was a great era of football for me. I sort of missed the start of the 2000s because living in Perth, there wasn't much rugby league on TV. But it was
anyway, a great era of footy. You're right.
Yeah, it was. Moving on to a bit of a weird part of your career, the Northern Eagles, joining with North Sydney and Manly, two traditional rivals, and then the two clubs joining together. How was that era for you? Was it 2 years?
It was all right. We got on with it. We knew all the boys. We played Origin. We knew half the guys had come over. And we were fine. It probably wasn't the same at board level. It probably there was probably a few more arguments at that level. But as players, you're on the field, you're enemies, but off the field, 99% of the boys are good guys, and some of them they can be quite annoying on the field, and you don't want to like them, but you can't have a beer with them and you go, damn it, he's a good guy. It's so we're all fine as friends. It was just one of those things. We didn't gel as a team, and half of them, lived up on the Central Coast, and we lived here. And and I really think it's you don't just win with the best players. You got to gel as a team on the field, off the team. You got to spend time together. You really got to, don't have to be best mates with them, but you got to be able to have a common goal and know each other. And I feel that because half of us lived in Sydney, and we'd play at Brookvale, say, let's go for a beer, and half would go, no, we've got to get to the Central Coast, and vice versa. And we play up there, and they'd say, come on, let's go for a beer. And we go, well, we've got to drive. So we never really connected off the field. And whether that's true or not true, but I've played in some amazing teams, and the bond you have with those players, whether they like a beer, whether they don't like a beer, you hang together, and it's really important because teamwork and believing in having faith in the guys next to you, and believing and knowing what they can do and what you can do as a team. That's what wins semi-finals. That's what wins grand finals. So it's from my perspective, we didn't have that enough, and that's like I said, we had some the best players in both teams, and they were both good sides at the time. We just didn't gel enough, and having the good players, that's not enough to win footy games.
Yep, exactly. It's not just about the players; it's about they've got to gel as a team, and so when you finally do retire from NRL, mate, you go over to England, play for Bradford. How did you come to that? How was it just you wanted to continue playing, and Manly weren't going to offer you another contract, or was it you just wanted a fresh start? And
I still wanted to play. There was no offer on the table from the Seagulls, so I didn't really have a choice. I could have looked at other Sydney clubs and other clubs around, and and stayed in the NRL, but I didn't want to play against Manly. And I wanted to play again, so I didn't, and they weren't offering, so I had to go overseas. So I signed a 1-year deal with Bradford, and I enjoyed my time there. We didn't have much success, but it was, it's a great experience. And I just get to the end of that year and just think, actually, I feel like playing again. Let's do another year. And I did that 5 times.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because then you go off to Catalans as well in the south of France.
Yes.
Kept extending until 2013. How was it going from England down to the south of France?
I managed. England can get pretty cold. We used to train in snow, and you'd be, beanies and socks and gloves, and you come out and the ground would be frozen. And look, we had an amazing time in England. It was good fun. And then you get to France, and there's beach bars, and you're on the Mediterranean. It was pretty nice. You're eating baguettes and cheeses and wines and cured meats, and look, it was completely different experience. But speaking French, my daughter was, I think she was 4 or 5 when, maybe 4 when she started. She was going to French school, coming home and speaking French. Like and then the footy team. Trent Robertson was the head coach. It was his first head coaching job, and Robbo's gone on to obviously show what he can do. But he was an amazing coach. I learned a lot being over there under him, and it was just a great time for. There might have been 9 or 10 Aussies, Kiwi, Islanders, and we also lived this one little community, and they were your family. Because you're so far from home, and we couldn't. Well, some of the boys could speak French better than others. Mine's terrible, but they're the guys you hung with. So that's your little community over there, and it was just a good time, good place to be and play rugby league.
Yeah, I bet. That's why a lot of the guys go over to the south of France now to finish their careers off. Jimmy Maloney was probably one of the last ones, but I bet he's loving it over there. Get into a bit of your rep career, mate. You had a hell of a rep career as well, mate. You played 8 games for City, and you played 20 for New South Wales, 13 for Australia. How was, when you look back on your rep career, mate? How do you want to be remembered for your rep career?
Look, it was okay. We could have had a little bit more success and played a few more, but it was, look, the City Country, I think it was a great concept, and I got to play lots of those. There wouldn't be many people that have played more than that. They sort of stopped doing it for a while. Yeah. But then obviously, for New South Wales, we played in a couple of, great eras, and Joey Johnsons and Danny Badiris, and so some great players throughout that. Laurie Daly, Brad Fittler. There was plenty of players I got to play with, and we had some really good success. And then obviously, when the Kangaroo Tour in '94, which was I was 20 and touring over there with we're over there 8 weeks in England and 2 weeks in France. It was a pretty amazing experience. You got Mal Meninga and guys like this, and Alfie and Kevin Walters and Steve Renouf and all these guys, and Tim Brasher and all these. You get Glenn Lazarus. You can just keep going through them, and it was just an amazing experience. Then a year later in '95, we won the World Cup. That they didn't pick Super League players, and we weren't sort of given much of a chance, and we came out and got it done. So and then on and off for the next. I think 2006 was my last test.
Yep.
I was coached by Wayne Bennett in the Australian. Look, it's very, very lucky to represent your country in any sport. No complaints.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, growing up in the '90s, watching you guys play State Origin, especially yourself, you're one of those great players. Being a Queensland supporter, I love to hate you, but you're one of those great players that I will never forget. Throughout your whole career. So I thought you had an absolutely standout career, not just for Manly and that, but for New South Wales and Australia as well. So
I got coached by Tommy in State of Origin,
yeah,
the cattle dog. You look back at some of the eras you played in, the players you played with. It's pretty cool.
yeah, absolutely. And I think you probably got out just in time for that dynasty of Queensland teams as well. So you're probably
We did. Well, I think we lost. I think we lost the '06 series. Third game, I think someone passed it and Lockyer scooped it up and scored the try. That started the roll. I think that was the first year, because we won a couple in a row before that, I think.
Yeah. So I think you were lucky not to get.
True.
Hindsight, lucky not to get picked. But that's I know it would have been an absolute honour to play for New South Wales and Queensland, and sorry, Australia, Queensland, bloody hell. But yeah. Do you have a certain memory of your rugby league career? So I'm not just talking about your NRL or Super League career, State Origin, but even when you're a junior, coming through, do you have a specific memory that just stands out every time you think of playing?
Yeah, look, obviously, scoring the try in the 2008 grand final as a professional, and we used to win we had won some grand finals as a junior, but the memory, it stands out. We played at Harbord Park down here, and this is probably my most vivid memory of we were playing, and I can't remember who we're playing, which is not the point, but someone passed me the ball, it was raining, and I picked it up, and the try line was like 4 meters away. So I just dived over the try line. And the ref just looked at me, and I dived over the dead ball line. Someone has passed me the ball over the try line. So I look up thinking the next line is the try line. I dive over it. The ref says, mate, no try. It's like, you've just dived over the dead ball line. So that's my most vivid memory. I'm not sure that's a good or a bad thing, but that's it. That's it. Diving over
That's a great memory, mate. Something a lot of kids can probably attest to. I mean, hey, Sonny Bill tripped over the line a few years ago in the World Cup, trying to score a try for New Zealand. So yours wasn't on national TV. So
no, there was no videos back then, so we're good. We're good to go.
Absolutely. We're talking before about the merger with North Sydney and Manly. I'm sure you've heard the rumours and the stories going around with the 80th team, Perth obviously wanting to put in a bid, and North Sydney as well. And then they've come together to sort of maybe put a team in together. What are your thoughts on that happening, or should maybe Perth stand alone?
I think North Sydney have a great history. Obviously they're big rivals. These heritage teams have great support. South's got left in the comp, and they come back and look how they've gone. And the Bears have a rich history. There's some great people behind it, and some great minds that can structure something that promotes not only the game but brings another team back. I think they'd be an amazing 80th team.
Yeah, I tend to agree, mate. I think, all the infrastructure and stuff that the North Sydney have got behind the scenes is perfect for what Perth need, and it gives our guys over here, young kids, a pathway system. And the women coming through. I mean, we've got 3 women representing different countries in the World Cup at the moment from Perth, and I think it gives a perfect pathway for all these young people to come through, young kids. Gives them another opportunity, an avenue to go. And with Perth having, if they combine with North Sydney, it gives Perth a fan base over in the East Coast as well, instead of it just being Perth based.
That's right. And I think they've got the mix right, and I think it's it's obviously a great concept that they've come up with, and it obviously works with meetings with NRL. They're everyone's sort of thinking it looks good, so obviously they've put a lot of effort, and it's pretty exciting. I hope they get it.
Yeah, that definitely. have you got any advice for some kids, the kids coming up these days?
Yep.
You know, whether they want to pursue a rugby league career or anything like that.
Yep. On the rugby league side, just enjoy playing. It's when we were kids, it wasn't a profession you could do, so we just enjoyed playing because we loved it. If you enjoy something, you'll be better at it. You'll work harder at it. Like it's and I think obviously comes from parents and stuff. We take it a bit too seriously, too early. Yeah, and training is better, and kids train more these days and do things, but play because you love it. You never. And I think whatever you do, we go and see kids and go and see at schools. And I'd say, whatever your passion is, my passion was rugby league. Whatever your passion, now it's mortgage broking. I love it. Like I couldn't pick a better job. But whatever you love doing, if you love science, you love astronomy, if you love, poetry, just follow your passion and get as good as you can at things you love, because it's you'll never work a day in your life if you love doing something. It's not work. Work is a term that seems it's hard, but work is doing something to get paid for it. So it's find something you love doing and follow that passion. So that's, we always just say that to kids, just follow your passion, and one day create a job around what you love doing.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Beautiful advice. Just want to touch on a subject, a personal subject, mental health issues these days. Have you gone through a low point in your life? And if so, how did you get through it?
I have for sure. Like it's a couple of times and I'm not going to say it's go too deeply. It's a couple of times it's been tough, and transitioning from playing rugby league to something else can be tough, and not understanding where your place is, and and later on there's been other things, and life isn't easy. Nothing's easy, and nothing worthwhile comes easy. So it's you got to work at it. So if it's if there is some problems, it's go seek professional advice, or talk to someone about it. And the more you can talk about it, I think the better advice you can get, and the better you can understand what you're going through. So just talking to someone, whether it be anonymously or whether a friend or someone mentor that you respect, I think having that conversation or saying, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Because once I won't sort of go into my scenario, once you have a chat with someone, you realise that other people have been through this before. There's ways to help it, and there's pathways out of it as well. So it's what you don't know. It's a silly saying, but you don't know what you don't know. So it's just talking to someone. If they don't know, then you can talk to someone else, or if you need to see someone professional. But it's be surprised how the number of people that have been through what you've been through and have come out the other side. And that's probably the from someone that's not qualified, it's you can't do it all on your own. Like playing rugby league, you can't win a game on your own. As good as you can be, you might be the best player in the world, but you need other people around you to win the game. And that's the same with a lot of things in life, if not all.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Beautiful advice there too. We're talking a bit before, with the Matty John show.
Yes.
Do you still have much to do with the Matty John show these days?
Not a lot. I probably do 3 or 4 things a year. They'll call up and say, "What are you doing next Thursday?" And I'll say, "Okay, what's my role? What have I got to do?" Give you the backstory. And they like one of the producers. He's a good guy. All he says is, "Mate, just turn up and bring your headgear." That's what it's become. But it's a bit of fun, and I enjoy it. And they're good guys, and what they put together is very impressive.
Yeah, I think all you guys that go on that show and able to take the mickey out of yourselves and each other, it's great. It's funny for the viewers to see. Because I watch all these sort of shows. I watch the serious side of it with the 360 and all that sort of stuff, and then I watch the Matty John show and these boys. Like I sent you my interview with Hindy.
Yes.
And he's a crack up on that as well.
He's good, isn't he? He's very good. He's come a long way from his Fox days when he was a sideline commentator. Have you seen some of those?
Yes,
Google some of that. Everyone Google some of those. Hindy on the microphone. Google that.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, it's awesome to see these guys. You guys, be able to take the mickey out of yourselves. You wearing your headgear. Because everyone knows you for your headgear. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, they don't recognise me unless they got it on.
Lucky you don't wear it in the mortgage broker job, do you, mate?
No. Unless it's a big deal and they request it, then I'm happy cracking it out.
That's the
Anyone
way.
out there, if you need me to put the headgear on to get the deal done.
That's the way. I just want to jump in. This is probably the last one I've got for you, mate. Is just life after football. What are you up to? What do you do when you spare time as well?
Yeah, well, work-wise, I'm a mortgage broker. Work for Citywide. We're based in the Olympic Park out near the stadium. So I do a couple of days of office just at home and on the northern beaches, and then out there a couple of days a week. And I just love helping people. Like it's helping people save money, $5-6 grand on their home loan refinance, or structuring a deal that they can buy their first property or buy their first investment property. It's just a feel-good job, there's a lot of banks and there's a lot to sift through, and one bank doesn't suit everyone. There's certain niches depending on all these things, and you solve a problem for them and get the outcome, and they get the biggest investment they'll ever make. It's we help people make their dreams come true. So it's really enjoy that. Outside of that, I've got 2 kids. A 40-year-old girl, 12-year-old boy, so they take up a lot of time, so not much. I like golf. I've had a couple of rounds recently, but I don't play nearly as much as I used to. And that's it. Work, kids, and obviously my wife, who spends time, that's all I've got time for.
Yep. I know the feeling, right? Yep.
I'm sure you know. It's anyone with kids, you run, especially at that age and or similar ages, they're once they hit 16, they probably won't want to hang with you. So you gotta get it in there, get the time in there.
That's it. I mean, I've got our oldest that lives in the house is 16, and our youngest is 1. So we've got nearly every age in between.
Yeah, wow, so, that's intense.
Yeah, it is. But they all, they play sports. We get out, we go do things as a family. So. And I'm sort of lucky I get to work FIFO, so the time I'm home is just spent time with the kids.
When you're on, that's good,
yeah, and that's it. But yeah, like I know I was going to talk to you about your golf and see what how much you sort of play these days, because I know you were off a pretty small handicap for a while.
Oh, I used to be off 7. I played off 7 when I had no wife, no kids, and not a real job. I was playing rugby league. I could play off 7. Now I've got 1 wife, 2 kids, a real job. I'm playing off 18 at the moment.
Yeah, okay. That's mate, it's better than me. So
no, it's good fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you get to play? Do you play much?
I haven't for a while. Usually when I'm home, it's just trying to spend it with the kids. But when I get back, exactly. When I get back again, next time I get back from my job, I'll be going for a couple of rounds of golf, because I've got some clubs sitting in the cupboard that need to get out. So
that's right.
But my handicap is me swinging a club. So but it's just good to get out there and walk around, breathing that fresh air, and just have fun. Sorry, I was going to say I take my oldest son with me. He doesn't know how to play, but he just comes out and comes for a walk around with me, and
it's good fun. You get out there, you go for a walk. It's good exercise, and the golf's part of it. But you go with 3 mates or whoever, and it's a banter, and it's good. You need to you need to do some stuff yourself. If that's not your thing, whatever. If you're a surfer or if you like reading books, do it. But you need to, you need to spend some time on yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, mate, have you got anything to say to your fans over here in Perth?
Yeah, obviously, if the Bears get in, just come and follow the Seagulls because they're way, way better. So that's the first thing. Thanks for all the support, the people that follow rugby league, follow the Seagulls, and if you need a home loan, come and see Beaver. Come and see me.
That's it. I would be definitely coming to see you myself, mate. Because with 10 kids, I need a house. So.
Wow, we need lots of bedrooms in that house too. We'll sort that out.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, Steve Menzies, thank you for joining me on NRL Fans WA, mate. If you're ever in Perth, don't hesitate to give me a call. We'll catch up for a coffee, go for a round of golf. But thank you for your time today, mate.
Cheers, Jamie. Thanks, mate. Nice to talk.
Thanks, mate. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.